What's up, everybody? So I got a chance to watch again for I don't know how many times, but this was only the second time I've seen Revenge of the Sith in the movie theaters. I saw it 20 years ago when it came out, and when I heard that it was being re-released, I kind of was interested. I went basically as a goof in some ways because, in the last, what was it, 10 years now, just about everything that has come out of Lucasfilm has been not good in my eyes. So I decided, okay, let me go back and maybe revisit, Revenge of the Sith to see how it went. And I'm not really sure if it's maybe I'm a little bit wiser, maybe I'm a little bit more forgiving. I understand filmmaking and acting and storytelling a little bit more now. But in the end, it was definitely better than I remembered it. I saw it maybe 15 years ago for the last time. And there was it's definitely the better of the prequel episodes. But, I still had some issues with it. However, of the three movies in the prequel trilogy, I think this one was a little bit more story focused and understood more of what it needed to be. Because it really is all a build up to everything that happens in the original trilogy. And so when you take it all into account, episode 1 and 2, okay, you understand how it fits. It just doesn't work for a myriad of different reasons. But you still see what it was trying to do as a story. You still see the big ideas, and you still see where it succeeds and where it fails. And I think of all the three movies in the prequel series, this one is the one that works the most. And I think the reason it works the most is, like in episode 1, the main issue is, to me is like, okay, why am I worried about like trade federation and taxes and trade agreements? And it's just too complicated from a political standpoint, and it kind of takes away from the whole Jedi lore that really I think audiences were craving for, because there was so much of it spoken of in the original trilogy that I think everyone felt, okay, now we're going to really dig into it and see what went haywire with Anakin. And we didn't get that. We got a lot of political intrigue and espionage, and it was like not what we wanted. It wasn't as compact as a story as we were hoping for, as the original trilogy was. But in looking at Revenge of the Sith through my 43-year-old eyes now, I see the good things that Hayden Christensen was trying to do. I see the good things that George Lucas was trying to do. And hot take, I don't really think that much of him as a director. I think of him highly as a storyteller. I think he knows this world inside and out. I just don't think he's incredibly competent or proficient enough to really bring that story to the screen. He does some good things here and there, but overall, there's a part of me that wished he would have given these scripts over to more competent screenwriters and directors to kind of really sharpen it. And if not to get too much into the inside baseball of the movie making, but there are plenty of video essays that you can find online that really kind of go into why is it that, he directed the three trilogies, because he did ask other people to do it. But for whatever reason, they decided to not do it. So he figured, okay, if this is going to happen, I have to do it myself. And kudos for taking on that undertaking. But you can see the deficiencies in the storytelling. So if it was given to, for example, one of the first people he approached to do it was Ron Howard. Now, Ron Howard in the last decade and a half or so, his movies have been a bit sus. They've been hit or miss. I don't know how much of it has been his fault. But this is the guy who did A Beautiful Mind, who did a lot of really, really great movies. Ransom, if you go back into the late 90s. The dude knows what he's doing. as a director. So I don't know what happened, why he fell off so much. Maybe his interest just kind of waned in the medium or in the art of directing. But the man knows how to make a movie. And especially in the time that this was going to be made, I think he would have done a really, really great job. But to kind of go back, and I want to give Hayden Christensen his flowers. Because when you see the movies that he's made after Star Wars, you really see how he shines as an actor. And I think the movie you should really watch to really understand how good he is Shattered Glass. His performance in that movie, you're like, wow, this guy has it. And I think it's not his lack of skill, ability, or talent as an actor. I think it's the fact that he didn't have the right guidance, whether it was from the directing standpoint, the writing standpoint, or the producer standpoint. I think given the right person to kind of help steer him in this movie, it would have been an even better performance. I think it's substandard, but I don't think it's his fault, is what I'm saying. And then when I think of Shattered Glass, for instance, it's like, okay, within the right hands, with the right caretaker, he can really pull something great out. So I think that deserves mention. Another thing about the movie that is just timeless and incredible is the soundtrack. I mean, John Williams turns in one of his consistently awesome scores. It's like one of those things that is like, how is this guy so consistent? It's like, I think of composers that have been around for a very, very long time, i.e. Hans Zimmer. And he does good stuff, but then he does other things that you're like, how did this guy do that? And when you think of John Williams and the original trilogy and his score, you think of Superman, you think of the Indiana Jones, and what he did with the prequel series is just as good as what he did early on in his career. So I guess that's another thing that like really caught my attention watching this again. It was also just nice being in a movie theater with other people that were excited. I think the thing with movies these days is nobody's really excited on a consistent basis like they were back in the day. Before I end this video, one of the things that I kept in mind was this crazy fan theory, and it's just kind of a fun aside, it's not really a theory, it's kind of like a fill-in backstory of a possible subplot that if it was injected into Revenge of the Sith, it would have added so many layers, that while Anakin was gone on a mission, which is mentioned in Revenge of the Sith, Padmé and Obi-Wan had an affair. And it turns out that the twins, Luke and Leia, are really Obi-Wan's kids. And the reason why Anakin is just so enraged is that he finds out about it. And then when you think of that in the context of everything that happens on the lava planet, it like gives this extra dimension of extra dimension of betrayal, of anger and friendship and all of these things that I think it sounds kind of soapy, but for me it was kind of fun to keep in the back of my head as I was watching it. Anyways, what do you guys think? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.